Hello you, and welcome to the super Instagrammable island of Yara. It may look like paradise, but TripAdvisor failed to mention that Yara is not only overrun by an evil dictator called Anton Castillo, it's also cut off from the rest of the world. So when launching a revolution to bring down said dictator, you can't just nip up the shops. You've got to wage war with broken machinery, bits of rubbish, and an old CD player I stole from a wedding reception in the 90s. Here's the Guerrilla's Guide to Combat. A wise person once said,
Resolver isn't just making do with what you have. It's inflicting chaos with everything you've got.
Couldn't agree more, pal. Hustle up as many of Yara's resources as you can get your mitts on and loot anything that isn't nailed down. Parts and scraps like durable plastic or recycled fasteners are perfect for improvising weapons, whilst vehicle parts can give your wheels a murderous makeover. Oh, and see that yellow smoke wafting about? That's a military supply drop, a smashing place to find rare materials like gunpowder and Supremo bonds. I mean, technically it belongs to the baddies, but I'm sure you can send in your crocodile mate to do some negotiating. Honestly, best lawyer I've ever had. So, you've had a good rummage and your pockets are heaving with junk. Next up, the workbench. Let's start with the ammo socket. If it feels like your bullets are gently tickling the enemy like whiskers of a bashful kitten, use scraps and gunpowder to craft meaner ones. Oh yes. Here's a tip. Use your phone to scout enemy reinforcements. As you tag them, you'll be able to see what bullets they'd least like to be hit with. Then come back like a cheeky sausage and be like, what are the chances I'd have these bullets? You can also build attachments, and not the kind where you cry hysterically whenever they leave the room. Handcraft sight attachments like the Resolver reflex sight to better observe the fear in your enemy's eyes. Or cobble together a homemade silencer like the Resolver Suppressor, which is the perfect tool for the sneaky McSneakerson who wants to pop off some headshots without alerting every man and his dog. And yes, it does look like you've taped an empty bottle of engine coolant to the end of the barrel, but A, that's part of the charm, and B, by the time anyone gets a glimpse of it, they'll have their head blown off. Guns aren't the only things getting a bit of a glow up. You can also use the workbench to pimp your ride. Got an old rusty ladder, broken bed frame, or bit of fence you don't need anymore? Then you, my friend, are the proud owner of a battering ram. See, kids, this is how you recycle. Then there's the ultimate traffic calming measure, the mounted turret. Some require a mate to climb aboard and activate the pew-pew, but others let you fire straight from the driver's seat, which is especially useful if you get stuck behind a fucking tractor. I'm late for the football, mate, come on! Pop incendiary rounds in your turret if you're a cheeky arsonist, or poison shells if you fancy seeing the enemy coughing up their own lungs.
Oh, and the day was going so well.
So, here's the thing. Resolver warfare isn't just about modding your existing weapons. Oh no, pal. You can combine all that junk to make new ones from scratch. Meet La Clavadora. She's a classy lady who likes long walks on the beach, Pinot Grigio, and impaling enemies with a giant harpoon. I had to take apart an entire bicycle to make this monster, and boy, was it worth the effort. Then we have Zeusito, a battery-powered EMP gun that can disable security systems, turrets, vehicles, and, most importantly, this guy's reproductive organs, like being flicked in the nuts by Zeus himself. The Tostador is a homemade flamethrower that sprays a jet of fire, toasting the bad guys. And you, if you stand too close, you muppets. El Muro is a weapon having a mid-life crisis. It can't decide whether it wants to be a shield or a bloody massive hand cannon, and I, quite frankly, applaud it. It dishes out the best of both worlds, soaking up bullets and dishing out pain. And finally, there's El Susurro, a devastating and silent nail gun that definitely won't be on the shelves of your local DIY store. You can pelt foes with a flurry of deadly nails, yet also creep into your nan's house late at night and put up a shelf without her knowing. Bonkers! Keep getting crafty though, because this isn't even all of the Resolver guns on offer, and you can still mod them. DI. Why? Because I said so! Dearest humans, we've arrived at my favourite stop on the homemade weapons tour. Meet the Supremo backpack. It's just like your first day at school, but instead of scented gel pens and your mum's sandwiches, it contains f***ing mayhem. This beast is the Exterminador. It launches a flurry of explosive rockets that lock onto baddies and makes their day. If you got a ruddy helicopter being all high and mighty, use this baby like a big old can of fly spray, plus free fireworks for the locals. Strap on the Volta to send out a whopping EMP pulse that disables security and vehicles while sending your enemies flying. Be careful not to activate it too close to your horse though, because poor Bessie hasn't been the same since. She gallops backwards now, bless her. When Johnny Cash wrote Ring of Fire, he was definitely talking about the Furioso. This Supremo roasts nearby foes physically and mentally. No amount of skin cream is going to help these crispy losers. And lastly, the Medico, the friendliest backpack of the bunch. This guy emits an inviting spray of gas that heals you and your allies if things go belly up. Sure, it smells a bit like boiled cabbage, but then you can't have everything. That said, keep your eye out for Supremo bonds and depleted uranium to craft more Supremo beauties, because you always have room for more mayhem in your life. That's it, you lovely lot. Take my Resolver wisdom and go make me proud. Strap on your Supremo and turn some trash into treasure when Far Cry 6 launches on the 7th of October on Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, PC and Stadia. For more virtual mayhem, stick with IGN.